Let's continue in the series of Tefillah. We are slowly getting to understand that we are here on this earth to serve Hashem. We have to acknowledge that He gave us everything. We have to understand the tools that He gave us. He gave us Chachma, He gave us wisdom. And with this wisdom, we learn how to use all the other things this world has to give, the hope, and how to accept criticism, and of course do all the mitzvahs and stay away from the averos. And then we go into learning how to prepare to do mitzvahs, and understanding that our body is here for our needs in this world, and we should use this body because Hashem gave it to us. And every part of us, every little vein and every little detail that we encompass is all meant for us to be able to take us to where we have to get to. If someone was born a paraplegic, they have a destiny with what Hashem gave them, and they could reach it. If somebody was created with Down syndrome, they have a purpose. We may not know what the purpose is, but they have something to fulfill on this earth, either spiritual, physical, or both. And that's what the body does to us. And we learn Asher Yotzar Roifech Al Basar Machvilasos. Hashem gives us that opportunity. And now we go into Elokei Neshamah. Elokei, Hashem, my Lord, Neshamah Shnasata Bi Tahora Hi. This Neshamah that you gave us, she is pure. So let's understand what's going on over here. There's an interesting Rashi when it comes to the creation of the world. And Rashi explains that Monday and Wednesday were created for things in the heavens. Tuesday and Thursday were the creation of a whole bunch of things on the earth. And you see the animals, and Tuesday you see the earth, Monday you see the skies, and Wednesday the moon and the sun, the moon, and the stars. Sunday, though, was light and darkness, which is heaven and earth together, which is the light from above and the darkness from below. And Hashem says, He are. So Hashem says, Friday, I got to do the same thing. I can't have another day just for physical, like Tuesday and Thursday, and I can't have a day just for spiritual, like Monday and Wednesday, right? I want to go and do something like I did on Sunday, so that way we have a pair. We don't want any kinna b'masav v'reishis. We don't want jealousy. So Hashem goes and creates the human being out of earth, afar min ha'adama. He goes and creates this person from the ground. But then He takes an Neshamah from above and puts it into this body, so that way this body is a mix of heaven and earth. And that's how Hashem avoids this jealousy of the creation of earth. If you want to light a fire on this world, we know the elements, the four elements is fire, air, water, and earth, right? And this is the hierarchy level of the four elements. Although the months, as we spoke about a few times, the months go on fire, earth, air, and water. But if you look at the stages, fire is above, which are all like fire, gases, and then you go down air, which is the level underneath gas. And then you go down to water, which is the vapor of the ocean. When the sun shines on it, the vapor goes up, clouds, everything, the winds. And then we go down, the ocean has the salts, and the salts turn into ground, and they attach themselves to the ground, and the ground is just the physical Adama, which is like the sand, the Afar, and that's the lowest part of creation. The ones we step on, the Shuram Dashba Keva, it's low, it's underneath us. And when you want to light a fire, you need to use fuel in order for this fire to be able to burn. So we take wood, we take things over here on earth, so this fire could live, so this fire could continue growing. And in order for the Neshamah to be able to live, which is the ultimate spiritual fire, right below Hashem, that Neshamah that's why we see that Chanoich, who was a human being, Enoch, right? Chanoich, he was a Neshamah, and he was able to go to a level which is called being Malach Metat, right? Metatron. Sarah Pnim, he is like the chief of staff, and he is greater than the Ifanim and the Chayos and all these great angels. He's much greater than them because he's a Neshamah. A Neshamah goes to the highest level, after Hashem. So in order for this fire to burn, in order for this neshama to be able to burn, we need to have physical components. We need to have a body where the neshama could live through the body. And how does the body feed the neshama? What's the fuel that we give into this fire so this fire could continue burning? We continue giving it mitzvahs. We continue giving it things that fulfill us, that make us happy, things that really give us sipuk. It gives us satisfaction in our life. And when we go about doing those things, and we keep our neshama pure, we feed it proper fuel. We don't just unlead it 87. We go and we give it the highest grade, the best of the best, and olive oil, shemen zayit zach. We give it the best of the best quality stuff. Then the neshama remains pure. So when we daven to Hashem, we say, Elokei, my Lord, neshama shenasata bi tohora hi. The neshama that you gave me is pure. You created it. You formed. You ataparasa ata. You created it and you formed it. Atanafachta bi. You blew it into me. What does that mean? When Hashem blew it into us, He gave us our first breath. He gave us the life that we have. And when we recognize that He gave it to us, He gave us this life, all we got to do is say, in order to keep this life going, I got to reach that level of life. I got to bring life into myself the way Hashem brought it into me. And how do we do that? We follow His words. We follow His Torah. We go on that path. When a fire burns, if you look closer at it, you see it's just flying up. Where do these flames go once they leave the flame? So there's this heart of the flame down there. You see this little white part in the fire as you steer closer, and then you see these red and different colors until they just jump. It looks like they're just trying to scream. It looks like they're just trying to scream, but they're just dying every time they get too strong. And there's another Gemara. There's a Gemara that says that for some reason I've always had a hard time remembering where this Gemara is, but I clearly remember reading it and learning it. The Gemara says that before a person dies, they feel like they're actually becoming better. They have this one day of clarity where it's like the neshama is just burning strongly. It's as if it has so much to give that it just becomes alive. All the pains just go away. We fall into this high that nothing else bothers us. All the problems that we once had are now nothing because, wait a second, I see with clarity. And that's what happens to a fire. Before a fire dies, it tries to hold on to its life. It tries to continue going. And we see it with nations as well. That right before the big collapse, you see there's this big rush of people saying, we got to do something about it. Where were you until now? Right? But we got to believe and hope that Hashem has a plan. And we know that Hashem has a plan. We have to hope that it won't cause us too much stress. And we have to daven. We have to pray that Hashem finally, if whatever has to happen, the fire has to burn out, let it be the last time, so that we could be reunited and come back home. And it's the same mashal of saying, just like Golos, if this country has to fall apart, let it be the last stop that we have to make, and let us finally be back home in Yerushalayim. And the same thing with our neshama. If this is the last breath we have to take, let it be our last, so that it could go back to the place where it stays pure and it reaches the highest levels of purity. And that's what we want to do. And you see a tzaddik, we say, what's a tzaddik? A tzaddik is somebody who knows how to spend his time properly. Somebody who knows how to use every ounce of fire that he has within him for the sake of Hashem. And we get lost a lot of times in our problems. We say, oh, my fire is burning. I want to, my heart yearns. My heart has these feelings, and we look for physical things that are going to acknowledge this feeling in the heart. They're going to make us feel comfortable and relaxed and put together. But the thing is, those aren't momentary, and they're physical stuff, and we want to go into a place where it's real and true and everlasting, eternal. And that's what the neshama is. We have an eternal part to ourselves. We have our physical, which is time-based, and if we work our time well, we become tzaddikim. But we have this eternal part in us. And what is that eternal part? When we use our time well in this world, we don't just use our time and we show up afterwards and we say, okay, what do we do now? We don't even have that thought while we're doing it. While we're doing the right thing, while we're enjoying life to the fullest and the truest extent, we live eternally. we live in a place where nothing else matters. We could do that throughout our life because we have the Neshamah, we have that fire within us. And as long as we give it the proper fuel, as long as we feed it with the things that it's supposed to be having, it's supposed to be getting, we're going to live, and we're going to live prosperously, and we're going to merit Olam Haba. We also say in the end of this, "Va'ata asid litla memeni ulachzira bi la'asid lavai." You are going to take it away from me, and then you're going to give it back to me la'asid lavai. Which means we're in this world. We have the Neshamah with us, and we live with it. We are connected to it. We acknowledge it in our life. We acknowledge that there won't be any life without this Neshamah, without the soul in us. What are we? We're just flesh. We're just an animal's meal. But when we understand that we have a Neshamah, we understand that we are much greater than just flesh and bones. We're connected to Hashem, and Hashem says, "I'm going to take this soul out of you one day, and your bones and your flesh and all the physical matter that seemed to be important, that were your reality, it's going to go away. And guess where I'm going to give it to you? In the future, I'm going to give it to you in a place called La'asid Lavai. La'asid Lavai, where all that will matter is the soul. You'll be living in that moment of eternity, that moment of eternal bliss in La'asid Lavai." So that's what we finish. That's why, as long as my soul is inside of my body, I'm going to daven to you, Hashem. I'm going to thank you. I'm going to acknowledge you, because there is no other great thing in this world. And that's what we say. Blessed are you, Hashem, because you return neshamas to dead bodies. What does that mean? Bodies that seem dead, like all we have. We're just running from thing to thing and busy with our physical realities and trying to make ends meet and busy with our heartaches and hardships. And we say, Hashem, with this neshama, you bring life to the dead. The things that are technically nothing. The couch that I'm sitting on and the walls that are surrounding me, they're technically nothing. Yes, I need them for shelter. I need them to be able to live. My body needs to be able to be secure. And once I keep my body secure, I'll be able to feed my neshama with the proper fuel. And we know that. But Hamaz neshama Savgar Maisim, as Hashem says, we bless him for giving us a neshama and giving us life, because without the neshama, our body would not know to do anything to feed it. If we would be just here bodies without a soul, we would just be walking around like zombies. Because we have a neshama, we know we have to protect our bodies. We have to feed it. We have to stay healthy. And we have to get ourselves a couch and walls and a roof and a ceiling over our heads. We know that this is what we have to do. And once we do these things, we're able to feed ourselves, feed off the Ziva Shechina, off the Torah that He gave us, and keep our neshama pure. There's so much we could go into when it comes to this. I wrote an entire sefer over here called Elu Devarim, going through all these tefillahs, and I feel like just adding some thought. It doesn't have to be deep thought, just a little bit connect fire to a soul, and start understanding how the fire works and applying that to the neshama. When you see that, you're like, wait a second, there's truth there. There's realness, and hopefully we could apply all of meaning from everything natural, everything in this world around us, and learn the perspective of Hashem, learn how to walk in His ways, and truly understand what we're here to do on this earth. Why is our soul down here, and what do we have to accomplish? Look around at the earth, look around the world, and make connections. Start seeing things, bring it into your mind, and live with that meaning. Live according to that. And if you have a hard time associating things in your mind, open up books. Open up somebody else's books. Read something. Listen to something. Hear perspective. Gain it. And learn how to listen. As we spoke about Shema Bani, learn how to listen, because as you listen, you'll hear everything talk. Everything speaks. So, I wish you good luck and everything in your life. I appreciate that you took your time out of here. It's definitely well spent. And check out my books. It'll support me. It'll give you even more than that. It's definitely worth the money you're going to be spending. And I appreciate it very much. Watch the other videos and have a wonderful life. Take care. Have fun.